Hi and welcome to Dos Marias channel. My name is Maria.
And my name is Maria too.
Today we're going to talk about one of the most important C's, I believe, when it comes to buying your house. So Maria, tell us why credit seems to be so important. I have the money, I have everything.
Yes.
But the last client that we have in our office, you told them you need to build your credit.
Yes, yes. And you know, this is something that's extremely important what you said. You can build and rebuild your credit so many times. You know, people file bankruptcies and then you rebuild your credit again. So if you have 400 score or 850 score, congratulations, that's an amazing credit score, by the way.
Right.
But if you're in the mid 500s, we need to make sure that we review your credit, right? Because like you said, you can have everything, but if you have no credit score or bad credit, actually it's better to have no credit than bad credit.
Right.
Because with no credit history, we can build like alternative credit or at least guide you on what steps you should take, like getting a secure credit card, you know, to start building your credit card, maybe become an authorized user on somebody else's credit, as long as that person has high limit, low balance, pays on time, that helps you. So, and then if you're gonna be buying a house, the higher your credit score, the lower the interest rate, right?
Got it.
So if you tell me, Maria, my neighbor or my coworker got a house at 5% and you're offering me at 6%, we need to see maybe it was more down payment, better credit score, why is happening?
Right.
Or I'll get you 4%, and then you go and you tell your friend, well, I got a 4 and you 5.
Right.
Maybe his credit sucks.
Right. So
you know?
every person's situation is different.
Yes.
That's why we're here to talk about credit in general.
Yes.
Go for it.
So, okay, so what we're gonna look is your scores. So in your scores, I would highly recommend to monitor your credit. From your credit scores, we need a minimum of 550 credit score. That's the minimum, so we can start lending you like with an FHA loan. Now the credit scores go from 550 to 850, and to 850 credit score. So depending on that, we're gonna see apps that people usually refer to. You know, I see Credit Karma, Equifax, great platforms, systems, apps that you can review. But remember that you also have the right to receive an annual credit report for free. So every year, I highly recommend to go over online, and if you don't know the website, we can share it with you. We can share the link.
Yeah, we're gonna put the link in the description.
Yes. Or you can, we're gonna put the link. Otherwise, you can Google and say free annual credit report, but it might take you to other websites. So it's better if they click on the link that we're gonna send you, that it's secured. So you monitor. Why you need to monitor your credit? Because if you have a middle name, if you change your address, if you change jobs, everything, that personal information that you think, it doesn't matter what address I use, it matters. You can increase your credit by 5-10 points.
Right.
And that could be the reason why you get a loan or why you don't get a loan.
Right.
And it didn't take you that long, and all you had to do was update your information, your personal information.
Right.
So we're gonna see your scores, that's important. We're gonna see your history. Extremely important on your history, because this is the credibility that you're telling the lender, lend me money, I make good money, I have savings, I'm buying a house, and I'm a good person, I pay my bills on time, right? So in your history, how long you've had your credit? You know, 1 year, 2 years, we usually want you to have a credit for like at least 2 years, 24 months. Do you pay your bills on time? So many clients we have, and they're like, Maria, I already paid it off in full, but you paid it late.
Right.
So now you have 1 times 30 that could drop you like 50 points on your credit score.
Right.
So I usually recommend to do auto pay on everything. So if your minimum payment is $25, $15, set up your auto pay. Don't forget, God forbid you have an emergency, at least you send the minimum payment on time, because to get ahead on a late payment, it will drop your score like 30-40 points, and you don't want that, because to recover, it's going to take you 6 months, 8 months, potentially a year.
Right.
So if you pay your bills on time, we see, what type of debt do you have? Because whenever we're getting you pre-approved, we need to see how much money you make, but also what debt you have. Do you have a car payment?
Right.
Is it purchase or lease? You know, do you have student loans? Do you have credit cards? So many people have countless of credit cards at all the stores.
Right.
And every store is going to offer you a credit card. You do not need to have every store's credit
No,
card.
you only need 2 credit cards, I would say, to be on the safe side, right?
I would say 2, 3 max, you know.
Right.
Be mindful where you get your credit cards. Try to see if you can get rewards or points, the benefits. I mean, with 3 credit cards and your car payment, you can get to your 800 score without any issues.
Because you can ask your bank actually to increase the amount.
The limits.
Exactly, the limits that you have on your credit. That's why you don't need more than 2, 3 accounts. So don't get into that trap. You don't need it.
Correct. It's better if you have 3 credit cards with a higher limit than having 10 credit cards with a $500, $1,000 limit.
Right.
Because that's another thing that we see, your ratios, right? How much your limits are on your credit cards versus the balance. So if you have a credit card that it's $1,000 limit, that's how much you can borrow. And then if you're using $900, you're maximizing, and most likely that creditor is never going to increase your limit because they're going to think that if we get you to $5,000, now you're going to owe us $4,900, and what are the chances you're going to pay us back? So if you show that you have $1,000, we usually want people to stay between 20 to 30% on the limit. That means that if your credit card is $1,000, do not spend more than $300 on a monthly basis. So this is extremely important. Some people will have high limits, and then the credit cards, you know, your credit score is low, and you don't know, you're paying everything on time, but you're maximizing your credit cards. Also, before you pay your credit cards and you're like, I want to buy a house, I have a good job, I have savings, let me pay off my debt and then go to Maria's.
No.
Come to us first and we'll tell you what credit cards you're going to pay so we can increase your credit score.
Exactly.
And don't spend your money because we might need it for savings, for closing costs, for the down payment, or for that extra qualification that you want, that extra home. So do not pay your bills before talking to us.
Right.
So credit scores, what else we're going to talk? Derogatory. So if you have, like we were saying, bankruptcy, foreclosures, collections, you might have to pay them off. Some judgments, you might have to pay them off. I mean, there's some collections charge-offs that you don't.
Right.
So that's why we like to review your credit before you make decisions of paying off your debt.
Now we can, I'm sorry, I just cut you off, but I want to make sure that everybody understands that when you first meet us, if you're just scared or you're on the edge and you don't know exactly, but you kind of want to see where you are with everything, we will do that extra work because we're like people helpers. How would you call us?
We will hold you by the hand. That's what I usually say. We're going to hold you by the hand.
Right.
We're going to tell you this is the way to make it happen.
Exactly. So we'll look at everything and we'll take you from there.
Yes, absolutely. So credit report, alternative credit. Okay, so we said in the credit history. Now, whenever we were talking about debt, you know, your bills, very important. And we say, okay, you make this amount of money, you have good credit, these are your bills. In debt, remember in your credit, the only things that report are your car payment, your educational loans, your student loans, your credit cards. Whenever we're looking into your debt to income, we don't take into consideration your car insurance, your cell phone, utility bills, your rent. Why? Because your mortgage will be replaced by your rent.
Exactly.
So we don't take that into consideration. So we're gonna say rent, utility bills, car insurance. We don't take anything into consideration.
Right.
Now, if you don't have any credit because you just moved to the States and you need to build credit cards, you can get a secure credit card. Or if we need to do alternative credit, We can show your rent history. We can show utility bills, like if you've been paying the water, the electricity for the
Right.
past 12 months, we can see that on your
Exactly.
bank statement.
12 months.
12 months.
Right.
Car insurance, your cell phone, if you pay a gym membership, any memberships, Netflix,
Right.
you know, any
Right.
any memberships that don't report to your credit because you don't have credit history. But this can be reported into
Right.
your report. So that could be the alternative credit
Right.
in case you wanna. We need to use it because you don't have enough
Exactly.
credit scores.
So as you see, credit seems a bit complicated, but if you come to us, the two Marias or las dos Marias,
Yes.
we're gonna make sure we're gonna run everything for you smoothly so that you can get a fresh start and go get that house. All right, see you soon.